All right, we give y'all all the praise and all the glory. We want to thank him and give him glory and thank him for this day. Thank him for the opportunity that he has allotted us once again to come before us. And I forgot to get my water. I got a little vinegar water. That'll be fine. Now to get it going. Nevertheless, we just thank him. We give y'all praise and glory. Tonight we're going to be in the book of the Maccabees. And our title tonight is Word the Maccabees Fighting Against the NWO. If you don't know what that is, New World Order. Were they fighting for freedom? We know the story concerning our piece of dedication. We know there was a war. We understand that. But this dedication was a victory. And we're going to get into the word tonight, and we're going to see exactly what they were fighting for, just as what they're talking about doing now. One thing we know, there's nothing new under the sun. What it has been will be again. And here we see that. And this book was written by one of the Judeans. And just going to give us a little close talk about this in a brief. In brief, the soul of this new holy war. It was a holy war. Is the Yahuwah, as in the time of Joshua and David, it is the covenant. That's what it's about. It is the covenant that is in question here. And our covenant is to what? To obey the Most High Elohim and to walk upright with him. Say, in question, in this request, the faith of Israel remained basically the same as of old, but it is expressed in a new way: the zeal for the law, the worship at the temple, the horror of uncleanness, and the curses of the Gentiles. This is what characterized these Yehudians of the second century before Yahusha. The word goes on to tell moreover, he said the religious revolt in its beginning is colored little by little with political ambition. And we can see it right now. So when we read in the book of Daniel, and I need to go ahead and pull that up because I might have to bring that in, because they talked about the little horn. The little horn is Antiochus Epiphanes. He was the little horn that will decimate Israel in the wake of change, because that's what the order is all about. To get everybody on one page serving one God. So my question is, were the Maccabees fighting against the NWO of a resistance to maintain the covenant? See, we know we keep the Feast of Dedication, but we got to also know the historical facts behind why they did why they was doing what they was doing, and bring it to light. They're fighting political ambition. See, the author does not seem to be shaken by it, while certain religious movements are disturbed. This is perhaps the gravest lacuna in an interesting and human story that exudes heroism and combines the entrancement of faith with the passion for freedom. Now I'm going to get into it. I'm just giving us some synopsis here. Were the Maccabees fighting against the NWO, the New World Order? Because as we get into this, it was all about the covenant. Their covenant and our covenant. Our covenant is to obey the Most High Elohim. And I'm going to get into the actual word. I'm just going over a little synopsis right now. Just give us some back to refresh our memory. And we're going to begin with the first book of Maccabees. Maybe divided as follows. We're going to talk about the great danger for faith. And we're going to be doing the same thing. It's all about your faith, what you believe. It's going to come down to just what it came down for them. That we have to stand by what we believe. And as we see this, and we're going to see this thing as clear as day, that they was fighting against what we call the NWO, the New World Order. Same thing, they're talking about what you do. Bible says the same thing. That some of our people will be cut off and everything else. Because either they're going to convert or they're going to be killed. So let's go back and look at the Maccabees and why was it so important to celebrate the Feast of Dedication, because many of our people don't think it's a big deal, but it is a big deal.
Sure is.
You let right now this thing break out what they're talking about doing against us. And the more High free us from it, you gonna tell me we're not going to give him glory and praise for it? And honor him always? So let's talk about this. Let's get into the scriptures tonight. If I get through, I do. If I don't, we'll come back with part 2. I don't be in a hurry. And don't need to be in a hurry. So let's get into these scriptures tonight. And I need to open up another, because there are some ones I might need to go to. Because we got to understand who this Antiochus. Anti means he's against Yah. That's first of all. He's an antichrist too.
Oh yeah.
Antiochus. Isn't that what we'll be fighting against again?
Mm-hmm.
Won't that be the issue again?
Oh yeah.
Antiochus. At Epiphany. The name Antiochus is anti-Yah. Epiphany's a God against Yah. He's against the things of Yah. And he was against his people. Sounds so familiar. Sound like we can go home. Let's get into the Maccabees. Okay. The succession of Alexander the Great. All right, let's see. Number 1. It said, after Alexander of Macedon, the son of Philip, had come from the land of Kittim or Egypt, whichever one you want to say, land of, because Kittim means Egypt too. Okay, Esau. He said, and he defeated Darius, the king of the Persians. Now keep in mind, the Persians also captured all the young maidens, and Ruth were in part of that. That's why they feel like they shouldn't even celebrate a Purim when they got victory over the people there that wanted to destroy them. He said, after Alexander of Macedon, the son of Philip, had come from the land of Kittim and defeated, he said, Darius. Now Darius was one of the kings that helped Israel, as well as Cyrus, remember?
Yes, it
When
did.
Cyrus started, Darius finished. The king of the Persians and the Medes. He said he succeeded him as king. In addition to his position as king of Greece, he goes on to say he engaged in many campaigns, captured strongholds, and executed kings. There's one thing to let you know that the country or the city has been captured when they destroy the leaders. Number 3 tells us, in his advance to the ends of the earth, he plundered countless nations. When the earth was reduced to what? Silence before him, everybody was afraid. His heart swelled with pride. Isn't that just like it? His heart swelled with pride and arrogance. He recruited a very powerful army, and as provinces, nations, and rulers were conquered by him. Just kept going. He said they became what? His tributary. Now, in other words, they paid him. Everybody he conquered, they paid him. Just like America do to the other country. That's why they pay. That was one indication that the country had been conquered. They had to pay tributaries to the king or the one that came in and conquered them. They're now his possession, and they have to pay up like everybody else. However, number 5, when all this had been accomplished, Alexander became ill, and he realized that his death was imminent. Therefore, he summoned his officers, nobles, who had been brought up with him from his youth. And he divided his kingdom. See, he was very ill. He divided up the kingdom. He said, among them while he was still alive. Number 7 say, then in the 12th year of his reign, he died. Alexander died. And after that, his officers assumed power in the kingdom, each in his own territory. They all put on royal crowns after his death, as did their heirs who succeeded them for many years, inflicting, listen, they doing just like their father did. They inflicted evil on the world. Number 10 tells us, he said, from these there sprang forth a wicked, listen what he said. From these sprang forth a wicked offshoot. Listen, he wasn't like nobody, not like any of the other kings. Antiochus, anti-Hamashiach, and Antiochus Epiphanes, the son of King Antiochus. He's named after his father. Previously, he had been a hostage. Listen here. He had been a hostage in Rome. He began his reign in the 137th year of the Greeks. Hellenism in Palestine. In those days, there emerged in Israel a group of renegades who led many people astray. Listen, and that's up Hellenism. Ain't that we got a lot of Hellenism right now? Leading all of our peoples astray. So in those days, there emerged a in Israel a group of renegades who led many people astray, saying, let us enter into an alliance with the Gentiles around. Now, why would you want to mix with the Gentiles? He says, around us. Many disasters have come upon us since we separate ourselves from them. Listen, that's what y'all supposed to. You supposed to be done. You're supposed to stay separated. He said this proposal received great popular support. And when some of the people immediately thereafter approached the king, he authorized them to introduce the practices observed by the Gentiles. Why they can't come in there with them? They got to do what they do. He said, therefore, they built a gymnasium in Jerusalem. Y'all never told them to build a gymnasium in Jerusalem. But they wasn't satisfied living by themselves where y'all could take care of them and protect them. You see, they're the one decided to go. A lot of them decided to go over there. He said, therefore, they built a gymnasium in Jerusalem according to what? To Gentile custom, not what y'all told them to do. He said, therefore, they built the gymnasium in Jerusalem according to the Gentile custom, concealed the marks of their, ain't it? What did it say? Concealed the marks of their circumcision. They didn't want to be circumcised anymore. They didn't want to obey the covenant anymore. That was a direct covenant with Israel, men, and Yah. It isn't what they say, and they abandoned the holy covenant. He said, thus they allied themselves. Listen, they allied themselves to the Gentiles. Not only that, they sold themselves to the power of evil. They did this themselves. See, the temple of Jerusalem is sacked. See, once his kingdom had been firmly established, Antiochus, what he did was determined to become king of Egypt so that he might reign over both kingdoms. 17 said he invaded Egypt, or Kittim, whichever what you want to say, with a massive force of chariots, elephants, and cavalry supported by a large fleet. He said when he engaged Ptolemy, the king of Egypt, in battle, Ptolemy fled in fear before him amidst a great number of casualties. Many people died. The fortified cities in the land of Egypt were captured, and Antiochus plundered the kingdom. After his return from his conquest of Egypt in the year 143, Antiochus advanced. He grew. Listen, he advanced upon Israel now. See, that devil don't stop. He advanced upon Israel and Jerusalem. What did it say? With a massive force. In his arrogance, he entered the sanctuary and removed the golden altar. So he removed the golden altar. That was a no-no right there. First of all, he was unclean to even touch the altar. The lampstand for the light with all its fixtures. And you know that was a sacred part. To keep the light or burning in the menorah. Because it's a representation of the presence of the Most High. Then he goes on to say at the table, 22, the table for the loaves of offering, the libation cups, and also the bowls. Oh, he put his filthy hand in all the sacred things. When they say, when you see the assimilation of the abomination standing in the holy place, this part of it. Let's keep reading. Is the unclean standing in the place that Yah has ordained for him, for his dwelling. That's why they call it his abomination. He said the libation cups and bowls, the golden censer, the curtain, and the crowns. He stripped off all the gold decorations on the front of the temple. And he seized what? The silver and gold and precious vessels and all the hidden treasures he could find. Isn't they talking about looting and all the fighting, this uprising? What you think they're going to do? He said, 24 said, taking all this, he said, he returned to his own country, having caused great bloodshed. He killed a lot of our people. See, I got the real one because I already know they weren't going to put it all in there like they should have. But it's giving us a pretty good picture. And he said he ceased. No, number 24. Taking all this, he said, he returned to his own country, having caused great bloodshed. And boasted. Listen what he said. And he boasted arrogantly. Is that not the Antichrist? What he had done to the people of the Most High, Yah? Not only he did to Yah, what he did to the temple. Or what he had accomplished. So he think. 25, there was great mourning throughout Israel. And the rulers and the elders groaned, girls and young men, young maiden and young men was wasted away. And the beauty of the woman it was gone. He said, every bridegroom raised up lament. Every one of them raised up crying, lamenting before the Most High Elohim. He said, and the bride sat mourning in her bridal chamber. The land trembled for its inhabitants. And the entire house of Jacob was clothed in shame. Isn't that what they plan to do in this NWO? If you don't come freely, they're going to kill a lot of them. Say 2 years later, listen what he did. 2 years later, after he had come in and ramshacked Jerusalem, 2 years later, the king sent his chief collector a tribute to the city of Judah, or Jerusalem. When he came to Jerusalem with a powerful force. So he didn't come in peace, he just lied. Let's keep going. He said, number 30 said, he deceitfully addressed the people there with sentiments of peace. Oh, didn't they say the enemy will come like he in peace?
Mm-hmm.
He gonna have people thinking it's peace, and then there's gonna be sudden destruction. Listen what he said. He deceitfully addressed the people there with sentiments of peace. Our people is so easy, so vulnerable. Time somebody say something like they really on their side. He for us. Attitude, that's the attitude that our people still have today. This is what he said. And once he had gained, their confidence. That's all the enemy want to do is gain your confidence. The word said he deceitfully addressed the people there with sentiments of peace and showing himself like he was peaceful. Ain't nothing peace about the Antichrist. That's why his name, he got a perfect name, Antiochus. Anti. He said once he had gained their confidence, the word said he suddenly launched a savage attack on the city. And listen what it said, and exterminated many of the people of Israel. Sudden destruction. You cry, peace, peace. And what he said, sudden destruction come upon you. They thought he was on their side. And he goes on and say 31, he plundered the city. And what the next day, he set it on fire. Isn't that what they do?
Oh, yeah.
He said he demolished its dwellings and the walls that encircled the city. Took the women, this is what he did. He took the women and children captive. And the word speak of that. That you told a wife and another man lays with them, and you know. And not only he took the children, and also seized their life or their livestock. He said, number 33, he said, then they rebuilt the city of David with a massive high wall and strong towers. He said, and it became, listen, their citadel, Antiochus. It became there. They took the city. So you're going to tell me this wasn't a new world order where they come and they took over and put the people on subjection. Listen what he says. He said, there they stationed a sinful race of renegades who fortified themselves inside it. Well, it's a storing up arms and provisions, dispositioning, dispositing what they're there to plunder. They had collected from what? Jerusalem, thus they posed a significant threat. It wasn't enough that they had done what they did. They took the city and moved in Jerusalem. That's why when you read, when they talk about the Syrian and the Mediterraneans and all that, where a lot of our people were in Syria, they put peoples in there. It wasn't our people. Our people was out where they had to leave because they put a lot of people in that area. Then it goes on to say, storing up arms and provisions and dispositing there the plunder they had collected from Jerusalem, thus they posed a significant threat. Isn't that what they decided what they're going to do in this? You gonna succumb to them, or you gonna be beheaded. You're gonna plunder and tear down everything. 36 tells us the city there became an ambush against the sanctuary. An evil adversary for Israel at all times. They spilled innocent blood all around the sanctuary. This is what and even defiled the sanctuary itself. Because of them, the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled. That's why we say the assimilation of when you see the assimilation of the abomination standing in the holy place. This is what they're talking about. This is what have happened. Jerusalem, what? The inhabitants of Jerusalem, they fled. And the city became a dwelling place of strangers. Whatever, see, this don't tell it like it is. I mean, I meant to tell you, get yours open so you can read. But I get, yeah. But they getting on my nerve. They ain't telling it. They telling it, but they leaving some words out. Mm, 36. Let me see what it say in there. Number 36 says, and he set a tax upon the land. I'm going to back up to 33. That these things are written in the book of the stories of the king of Judah. And every one of the acts that Josiah did, and his glory, and his understanding in the law of the Yahuwah, and the things that he had done before, and the things now recited are reported in the book of the kings of Israel. And the people took wait a minute. Sorry, saints. Yeah, I'm in the right place. And the people took Yaakov, Yoachaz, the son of Joaz, and made him king instead of Joaz, because his father, when he had 20, and when he was 23 years old, and he reigned in Judah and in Jerusalem 3 months. And then the king of Egypt disposed him from reigning in Jerusalem. And he set a tax upon the land of the 100 talents of silver and 1 talent of gold. High taxes, making them pay high taxes. And he said, the king of Egypt also made King Joachim, his brother, king of Judea and Jerusalem. You know what, saints of the Most High? I'm going back, and I want to read it from the beginning. That's good, but it just leave out too much detail. Okay. The chapter 1, it don't start off like this. And Joaz held the feast of the Passover in Jerusalem unto his Yahuwah. I'm in the wrong one. Anyway, let me get over here. Let me get to the Maccabees, saints of the Most High. As it will say, let me get to the Maccabees, the Maccabees. All right. Okay. Let's get it. Let's get this thing right. Okay. He said, and it happened after that Alexander, the son of Philip, which reads that the Macedonians who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of Persia and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the king of earth, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted in his heart, was lifted up, full of pride. That's all it is. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings. He became tributary, who paid him taxes and gifts. That's what they did unto him. They had to pay that if they didn't want to be attacked. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and he parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. We're talking about Alexander the Great right now. And he says, so Alexander reigned 12 years, and he died. And his servant bear rule everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, and so did their sons after them many years. And evil was multiplied in the earth. I can imagine it was like it is now. And there came out of them a wicked root, like I stated earlier, Antiochus, anti-Yah, surname Epiphanes, son of Antiochus, the king who had been an hostage of Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of kingdom of the Greeks. And in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. Now these ones that we call sellouts. We know the kind. They go sell themselves out. He said, in those days went out of Israel wicked men. This is what they call them, wicked, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant. Now you're supposed to have a covenant with the Most High. Make a covenant with the heathen, so they know who they're making a covenant with, saints, that are round about us. For since we departed from them, since we departed from them, we had much sorrow. We don't have a lot of trouble since we were no longer with them. We got to stay in their system. He said, so this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them a license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. So they went to get license. They went to get, okay, can they join themselves with their enemy? Don't we see that today?
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, where the Maccabees fight against this NWO, y'all? Is this what the Feast of Dedication is all about? We miss a lot of these things. We do celebration, but we need to look at the real deal of what this dedication is all about. He said, whereupon they built a place of exercise, or gymnasium, at Jerusalem, according to the custom of the heathen. Sound like to me that 503C. They went and built them one. Them Ephesus they putting up. He said, and made themselves uncircumcised. Listen, you can't have two masters. You either gonna love one and hate the other. So in this case, they made themselves uncircumcised because they decided they wanted to go over and be with the heathen. Not only would they want to be with the heathen, they allowed them to build them a gymnasium, a arena. After the build it like they're now found friends. He said, made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to, and were sold to do mischief, sold themselves to do mischief, as though they didn't see the action of the Most High Elohim, as though they didn't see the power behind Yahuwah. They didn't understand that what they were doing, no, I won't say they did, no, they blankly left the presence of Yah. They go join themselves with the word say a heathen. A heathen does have nothing to do with Yah. He said, now, and anytime you walk away from the Most High, you are anti-Hamashiach. That's what you have declared yourself anti. He said, now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, which is anti-Yah, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of the two realms, of the two kingdoms. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy, and made war against the Ptolemy, king of Egypt. He said, but Ptolemy were afraid of him and fled. Ain't nothing wrong with running, saints. If you outnumbered, it's best to get out the way. It's better to say, there she ran than there she lay.
That's right.
And he said, and many were wounded to death. Thus they got the strong city in the land of Egypt. And he took the spoils thereof. And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again into the 143rd year. And went up against, now he going up against Israel. But his part of Israel had, now they come back and fight against their own people.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to remember, they went and got themselves with them.
Yeah, he did.
So this nothing new that our people will go out and get with other people and fight against us. It's nothing new that our own people will get with these other people and plot and vote against us.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And you can rest assured, them folks that's sitting up in these high places, they're not interested in seeing you make it. Their interest is to keep you down. Mm-hmm. That's why they're up there. Very few. Now I see some younger ones going in there. Thank Yah, going in these places which they can doing the best they can, but ain't nothing they can do. Because Yah said He'll gonna redeem us.
That's right.
He said, and after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in the 143rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude and entered proudly into the sanctuary. This is what he said when you see the simulation of the abomination. This Yahumashiach entered into the sanctuary. That is against everything that stand holy. He said, and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof, and the table of the showbread, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crowns, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple. All he pulled off. He took also the silver and gold and the precious vessels. He also took the hidden treasures, which he found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre. See, he went in and he massacred many Israelites. And that's all you hear, everybody talking about what they're going to do to us as a people. Mm-hmm. Everybody got a plan to destroy this race up. It's amazing to me. And spoken very proudly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I killed him. I want to kill them all. He was proud. Oh, he said, therefore, number 25, therefore there was a great mourning in Israel and in every place where they were, so that the princes and the elders mourned. The virgins and the young men were made feeble, had no strength. And the beauty of the women was what? Changed. They had no desire to dress themselves. They didn't look the same. Want to be like somebody else. This and the beauty of the woman was changed because when you so low, you look low.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to. Sometimes you get so burdened that won't even come out the room. And people say, she's a beautiful person. What's going on with that? No, in great mourning. Say every bridegroom took up lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. The woman that got married, she can't even think. He said the land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof. And all the house of Jacob was covered with what? Confusion. That's what the NWO want to do. Bring about confusion. Bring about order. Not order of Yah, but get up under their covenant. Is to bring confusion. Yes, it brings confusion. Because they wonder why Yah is not there now. So that let us know this thing is this NWO is going to, they're talking about again. I just want us to understand this was an NWO as well. And nothing new under the sun, saints. He said the land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob were covered with confusion. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector a tribute for some taxes for them to pay up unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude and spake peacefully. Listen at this, peacefully.
Mm-hmm.
Our people fall for some things so easily.
Yeah, they do.
All they got to say one or two things. Like put his hand on the Bible and then had the Bible upside down. They're talking he a Christian. Woo, goodness.
Goodness.
The devil don't only just hold the word, the devil know the word, he just can't live it.
That's right.
He said, and spake peaceable words unto them. Listen, he spoke peaceful, kind words, soothing words. But all was what? Deceit. Now you might fool some of them ones that know a little better, but them one was really walking upright with y'all. They knew it was a lie.
They still know.
He said, for when they had what? Given, listen what he said. When they had given credence, when they had succumbed and thought they was okay, thought they was in like Flynn, thought they had a friend. He said he fell suddenly upon the city. They thought he came in peace. Lying devil. That's what they lie do now. You put them up there, they don't look back.
Sure don't.
So he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore. And this was and destroyed here again, destroyed much people of Israel again. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire. Not only did he set it on fire, he pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. So he went in there and he just ransacked the place. This is what it said. But the women and children took they captive. Did they not? Take the wives. Isn't that something? They always want to take the wives and the children. They take the children because they can be molded. And no problem to get them to grow up in their lives in deceit.
That's right.
Took the women to ravish them and have more babies by them. Left them destitute with no food. He took the words say they will take your cattle. The words say that they'll take your corn. The words say that there was you patrol a wife and somebody else will lay with her.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it did.
Take your children. He said, and when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set on fire and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. But the women and children took they captive and possessed the cattle. Isn't that something? You killed the husband of the one that didn't escape. And
Mm-hmm.
not only that, you slap in your face, you take the wives, the children, and the cattle. The only ones, in other words, they left them to starve to death. Those
Yep.
that survived. He said, then builded they. This is what they didn't just leave the city. Then they build the city of David with a great and a strong wall. They tore the wall down and the houses down and built themselves. Isn't that the same spirit that we deal with, saints?
Yes, it is.
And with mighty towers. They built it, they put towers up there so they can see. And
Mm-hmm.
made it strong. He said made it a stronghold. That's why you ride by these neighborhoods, all you see is a wall.
Yep.
Mean, don't you come in here. You don't live in, don't come in. That's all right, but y'all knock these walls down.
Yes, it
He said,
is.
made it a stronghold for them. He said, and they put therein a sinful nation. That's what I'm talking about. You thought those Israelites, no, they put a sinful nation in there. He said, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein. He said, they gave them authority, gave them, I put out, they was in like Flint. It no longer belong to the Israelite. They done took over.
Mm-hmm.
He said they stood it. Then they stored it also with armor and victuals. And when they had what? Gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there. And so they became what? A sore snare for Israel, right in their land. Isn't that what we live in today?
Yes, it is.
And here they're talking about another one coming. This was the Antichrist. This was a new world order, saints. He said, for it was a place to lie in wait against what? The sanctuary. And an evil adversary to Israel. Thus they shed innocent blood, listen, on every side of the sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
And defiled it, insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them. That's why he said, if you see the symbolism of abomination, they stand in the holy place, it's time to go. Whereupon he said the city was made an habitation what? Of strangers. So that's what we see today.
Oh, yeah.
And became strange to those that were born in her. And her own children left her. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feast, well, listen, her feast was turned into mourning. See, that's why
She froze. Yeah, she froze. Hey, on it. Hey, she froze. Mm. Guess I wait till she come back in, cause she froze. Ugh. The internet done went down on the one. Hmm. Yeah, like I guess you trying to see what's going on with the internet, ladies. The show went out and froze on her. Yeah, we have to wait patient till you come back in. Yup, she waiting for the internet to come back up. Yes, yes, yes. Only burden you can carry. When I sit you weary.
You know nobody mad but the devil.
Mm.
I'm not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't read out of that anyway. So let us continue. They don't like for you to talk about the NOW. It's NONWO.
Mm.
It is what it is. It is what it is. You got to be a Matthias and you got to be Judah Mac in this day and time. Was this what it's gonna come to, saints of the Most High? Oops, I lost. Here I am. Okay, let's get back. Y'all can hear me okay?
I
All
hear you.
all right, let me open this up some more. I would be a bit surprised if it don't go out again.
Mm.
Let
Yeah.
me get this. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. See, I have to pretty much. All right, here we go. Even though I got that on screen there, but we are at number 36. Let me pull this up, but y'all can see how it doesn't read like the book does,
Mm-mm.
and that's planned. Okay, number 37 says no, number 36. For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Israel. Is still an evil adversary against people of the Most High right now. For it was, he said, well, thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary. What he said, and defiled it. Simulation of abomination. And insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them. Whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her. And that's something. Even
Mm-hmm.
all the children of Israel just left, scattered for safety. And they say, and some never return back to y'all. Some of them still right out here now with this same system from there up to now. Because we still got the same system. He says, and her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into what? Mourning. The feast. They would do the just it, they couldn't do anything. It become a mourning. Her Sabbath into what? Reproaches. Her honor into contempt. In other words, they will be caught doing any of this. Now you tell me what the new world order is all about. Having one God, one worship. Everybody worship the same way. And you tried anything else, your life was be in jeopardy. He said it said the sanctuary, number 40, as had been her glory, so was her what? Her dishonor increased. And her excellency was what? Turned into mourning. Now I think is are they're doing a lot of mourning because this where the presence of Yah, which is the Solomon temple at that time, was being destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Number 41. Number 41 say, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his what? His whole kingdom. Now he even called Jerusalem his whole kingdom. That all should be what? That all should be. Now you tell me this is not an NWO. That all should be one people.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone should leave his laws. Listen, put out your covenant with Yahuwah. Make up your mind, saints, because it's coming again. Everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed. Listen, the heathen agreed.
Mm-hmm.
According to the commandment of the king. Yea, 43. Many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have many of them stick their hand out, saints.
Oh, yeah.
With no resistance. That's why a lot of them went and got them shots they were telling them to get.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them died from it too.
Oh, yeah. Still
Many of them
dying.
suffering from it right now.
Yep.
Listen, these people mean us no good. We got to understand that. Yea, many also of the Israelites what consented to his religion. Remember, they didn't have no food either. They took all the cattle, all their food from them. And it went on to say, and sacrifice, listen, and they what? Sacrifice unto idols.
Mm-hmm.
And profane what? The Sabbath. Every time they eat unclean meat that y'all tell them not to eat, they burn that. They're sacrificing unto idols. Y'all know what he's talking about when he tells us not to touch stuff. Because this is what they use. He said, for the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem. Now why Jerusalem? Because you know that the Israelite is going to keep the Sabbath. They're going to keep the way of Yah, the true ones.
Mm-hmm.
It cost them their life. He said, for the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow what? Strange laws of the land. If it's not set up, if it's not according to what Yah has ordained, it's strange to him.
Mm-hmm.
When he have not ordained it, you try to do it before him, that's strange worship.
That's what he
And we
says.
thank Yah for grace and mercy because they fall dead immediately. We look back in this word.
Yes, he did.
45. He said, and forbid burnt offerings. And forbid burnt offering. Don't you offer up to the Most High. Don't you do nothing that look like like you still covered under the articles of Yah.
Mm-hmm.
He said, forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink. He said, drink off. Isn't this the things that they were supposed to be doing with the Most High?
Mm-hmm.
He said, in the temple. He said, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple. And that they should, listen, profane the Sabbath.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what many of our people do even now. This is the same system, saints. It was that new world order, and they're coming again. He said, and the festival days. Everything that Yasharel did, You notice who they came after. It was
Oh, yeah.
important. If you gonna walk with that system, you can't do yours. You can't keep the Sabbath. You can't keep your feast days. You can't do your burnt offerings and your sacrificial offering during those times. If we give y'all praise and glory, we have a sacrificial offering. And that's Yahushua Mashiach. But he didn't take the feast days and he didn't take feast of dedication. This is why he honored a feast of dedication.
That's right.
Oh, we give him glory. Let me say pollute. Then he said, number 46, and pollute. Listen, pollute the sanctuary. If that's not what they're doing now,
Oh, yes,
all
there
kind of
is.
mess in the there ain't no sanctuary in these buildings.
Yeah, here's what they is.
Ain't nothing holy about them.
Mm-mm.
That's a lot of nerve. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people. How do you pollute the holy people? Get them to eat unholy things? How you get them to not to do child? You that's old. That's old. That was the Old Testament. That Yahushua came now.
Mm-hmm.
So Jesus didn't come now.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to worry about that no more. You can eat all the dog, the cat, the rat, the hog, the buzzard. You want. Just put some gravy on it. God, please. 47. He says, set up altars and groves. Now he gonna bring in this God. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols. Listen, chapels of idols. And sacrifice swine's flesh. He said, an unclean beast, and get some more.
Right.
Anything you can find, and this is the similar abomination that they're doing in the temple on the altar. Standing in the holy place. Leaving the laws of Yah. He said, if you try to save your life, you're going to lose it. But if you lose your life for my sake, you will what? You will gain eternal life. That's why we pray that y'all give us power to stand in these evil times that's coming upon this earth. Oh, we thank him. We give him glory. He's number 48 said that they should also leave. Listen, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised. Don't circumcise your children or babies no more. I don't really hear too many our people talk about circumcision. I don't know if they're still doing it or not. You don't hear them talk about it much. I don't know if y'all saw this clipping a long time ago. They were talking about that's cruel to the baby and all that. They need to pass a law. And that been years back. You know they wasn't us was saying that, right?
Yeah, you knew that.
Sitting up there with that foolery. Nasty things. He said that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their soul, listen, and make their souls abominable. This is the NWO way of life. This is this one way that everybody will have to make a choice whether you want to walk that way or not. That's why I want to bring out, this is the new world order. That's why the Maccabees were fighting against.
Yep.
This letter is bold, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
So it make their souls. How you make your soul? Doing unscrupulous things, men with men, women with women. Cutting yourself, mocking yourself. He said, make their souls abominable with all manner. This is what? Of uncleanness and profanation. Anything that y'all can think of, make them do it. Have them doing it. I want to make them, I want to see them down in the gutter.
Mm-hmm.
He's Antiochus is an antichrist, anti-Yahuwah. So what has been will be again. Did not Daniel tell you that in chapter 8? That he was the what? The little horn that was coming up?
Mm-hmm.
And here he is, reaping havoc on the children of the Most High. And trust me, the one that show up gonna come out the same line. That as you go back and check their line, gonna be coming right out of that Antiochus line.
Yep, sure will.
He says, see, they hide their history, they hide their lineage. He said, to the end they might listen, to the end that they might forget the law. That's about why they're snatching your children so they can raise them up in an abominable way. They'll have no kind of God in them. Well, look, our y'all. I don't want to say God because there's too many of them.
They sure will.
They don't have no sense of Yahuwah. And that's why these children twerk more than these grown people.
Mm-hmm.
They have no kind of leadership of godliness in them. A godless generation. Y'all be praised.
Oh, yes.
Hallelujah. And tell it like it is. Smart, but have no kind of reverence of who y'all is. Is it the child's fault? No. They're just doing what they see the parent do. They got to learn how to live from somebody.
That's right. Bad.
He said, to the end that they might forget the law, the covenant of the Most High Elohim. I want you to take them in. I want you to make sure that they leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable, children's souls abominable. Because it come up doing all that stuff. It don't know nothing about y'all.
Mm-mm.
With all manner of uncleanness and propagation. Show them all that mess. And the parents go out and buy demonic toys.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think them things carry spirit. Let them keep on doing it. Children can't even sleep at night. They don't understand the children's soul is open. They're pure. He said, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the other ordinances of Yah. He goes on and say, whosoever will not do according to the commandment of the king. This is his orders. He said he should die. He said, in the self same manner, wrote he to his whole kingdom. Now he got them all. Not only did he do this, what he did, and appointed, excuse me, and appointed overseers. Don't that sound like slavery?
Yes, it does.
Isn't that what they did to us before?
Yep.
Appointed overseers over all the people. What it say? Commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. You gonna sacrifice it, gonna be unto Arcus, unclean meat. That's why a lot of our people left. They went into the mountains. And then he goes on and says, he said, then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, to everyone, he said that wit is to witness to everyone that forsook the law. And so they committed evils in the land.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them just turned right on over.
Yep.
They fell like trees. They just wouldn't fight against this. He said, and listen, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee, for succor, or for what the remnant. That's what succor means. A remnant. A remnant of them ran. He said, now the 15th day of the month, Keslu, during this season, in the 145th year, they set up the what? Here they go. The abomination of desolation upon the altar, and build idols, idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side. That's what the enemy does. That's why you see all these statues. You know you're in the town with all these, see all them statues. Those are the people, saints.
Mm-hmm.
They're not that easy to find out who they are. They love statues. He said, build them on every side. Number 55. We almost done for the night. He said, and burnt incense
Mm-hmm.
at the doors of their houses and in the street. See, the enemy don't do nothing different. They steal everything. And isn't that what y'all had the Levites to do? Keep the lights, the candles lit.
Yes, he did.
And burn incense
Yes,
unto
he
Yahuwah.
did.
They do the same thing unto their gods. He said, burn incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had what? Rent in pieces. When they had rent in pieces, the books of, for some reason, I don't want to break this. Oh boy. I can tell you this. The oregano oil, it made me want that mucus coming up. It's doing what it's supposed to do, cleansing. And he says, and burnt incense at the doors of their what? Their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire. And don't you think they're not going to try to burn these books? They're going to do the same thing. That's why we got to know this word, let it be in our heart. You better find a place where you can hide, because that's ain't going to be no word that you can find now. It's going to be a law, like in many of these countries today, be found with a Bible. And wheresoever was found with any of the books of the Testament, listen what it said. They find it anyway, or if any consented to the law. See, now that they got overseers, and they got the overseers, and the overseers got the overseers. So you don't know who you can talk to. He said, if any found, he said, wheresoever was found with any the books of the testament, or if any consented to the law, he said the king's commandment was that they should be put to death. He said, no, 58. Oh, I forgot to pull it. Why y'all tell me to pull it up? Okay. At least y'all can follow on some of this. Y'all see how much missing out of it anyway. Number 58. Thus did they, by their authority, unto the Israelites. And that's something. Who do they do this thing to? To y'all's people.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That's what this all about. Yeah, they go do this, but this about y'all people.
Yep.
He said, thus did they, by their authority, unto the Israelite every month. They searched how they found anything, found them in 7, what they killed them. And they know this during the time of Kislev, they getting together trying to, they didn't have a temple, but they was worshiping, trying to keep a Sabbath, trying to keep the festival. Thus they did by their authority unto Israelite every month, to as many as were what found in the city. Now the 5 and the 20th day of the month, the 25th of the month, Kislev. He said many, and she said they did sacrifice upon the idol offering. Ain't that something? What they do on the 25th of this month. That's why you won't supposed to be doing nothing on the 25th of this month. Because this ain't our money anyway. The 25th for us is really according to the new moon. No, because not new moon, according to the first sliver in the moon, because I went out there to see it myself, which fell on the 4th, which put that down to the 28th of this month. So I don't know why they're getting all these other dates. One thing I'm finding out, what is true is y'all's word. And the moon announces the month. It don't skip a beat. When you see the first sliver of light, that's the beginning of a new month. He said, now the 25th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon what? The outer altar. That's why they doing what they do on the 25th, as well as worshiping Osiris. See, all this stuff come together, all this stuff that they're doing, you see what they were doing then.
Mm-hmm.
Which was upon the altar of Yah. They was in there defiling the things of Yah on the 25th. That's why you don't look no kind of appearance like you doing what they're doing. He said, at which time, according to the commandment, they put to death, listen, certain women that had caused their children, listen, to be circumcised. They even killed the women because they kept the law. And they knew it was a death wish, that what they were doing. And he said, 61, and they hang, listen, and they hang the infants. They killed the mother and they hang. That's where you get the little Christmas bulbs. The little round bulb they put on the tree. That's the baby's head. And they hang the infants about their necks. and listen, and rifle and rift their houses, and slew them, and had and circumcised them. In other words, they had circumcised. What they mean, they cut off what they do now. I'm telling the people ain't that you know who they are. They didn't circumcise. They really took they took the whole genitals off. They cut their whole penis off. But well, they know what it is. What they always did to our people when they hang them. That's a mockery, saints. And you hear it right here, doing the NWO. Howbeit, many in Israel were what? Were fully resolved. They was not going to go with that. They were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. This is the remnant. Wherefore they chose rather to die, that they might what? Not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died. We have to make up our minds, saints. In our last verse for the night, he said, and there was very great wrath upon Israel. They was killing them every month, look like every week, especially during the feast time. And you think this is not the NWO? This is what this was. And this was Antiochus, when anti-Hamashiach. That's what this dedication is about, saints. This is not just about a feast or no. This is about what this NWO was. This was during that time that they were fighting and standing against this. Father, we thank you. We praise you tonight. We thank you for your wisdom and your understanding. We thank you for opening the eyes of the blind. I thank you, Father, for those that's teaching this word. And it's just not just something to pass by. When we understand the significance of the Feast of Dedication, they had a right to celebrate when y'all delivered them. So many of our people have been killed and slain for your name, who have made up their mind to stand fast and see the salvation. We must have the attitude of the Hebrew young men. Father, in the midst of all these things that's going on, if you don't save us, it ain't because you can't. But one thing we know, we will stand fast in that what we believe. We'll stand in that hope of your word. We give you any praise and glory for everyone to watch tonight. Father, we thank you for your word, as always is a blessing. And we thank him. Things of the Most High, I'm going to ask you to please like, share. Because believe it or not, when I get off there to Facebook, make sure you can barely find these teachings. I'm telling you. But it doesn't matter. I'm going to still open my mouth and tell. I've been working in this thing all day long. You see what it do when I start teaching. It did it one time today, but it came right back up. It just took it time tonight. But we will be back on Friday night, and I'm going to finish this up on Saturday, because I'm going to go through this, because we need to know what this is all about, saints. It's not just about a feast. What's behind the dedication? What's behind rededicating your life? It's not even about a building. It's rededicating yourself, remembering Hallelujah. On behalf of our brethren, those that sacrifice themselves. Because we're going to have to make up our mind the same way they did. But we also know, according to this word, in that time, some of them just went on over. Didn't fight, as they say, they didn't fight it at all. They just went on over. Sold out for a piece of meat. So saints on the most high Yah, I pray that you continue to be blessed, you continue to be covered and to be guided in the things of the Most High. Stand fast in that which you know is true. And with that, we're gonna say good night, and we'll see you back on Friday evening. See what our sister Ava have for us, and I'll do my little 2 cent worth.
Mhm.
All right. With that said, we're gonna say shalom, shalom, hallelujah to everyone.
Shalom.
Have a
Shalom.
peaceful night. Hi, mother. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.